just I don't like how I feel good because everything is going right. I don't like that. I don't like
Yeah.
because the prospect of something going wrong will I know that I will be thrown off completely. And that's indicative of me resting on my laurels, so to speak, resting upon my supposed continued security. And it makes me realize like, oh man, you're not really fortified in the way that you would like to be. I like to be fortified to such an extent that when I imagine the worst case scenario, I still have a degree of optimism and a degree of positivity. It's not just this doom, pure, oh no, all I think about is just despair and annoyance. That being said, that is the first stage. I mean, sure, if something went wrong, if something was extremely costly out of nowhere, even at my best, I suppose I would groan about it and then just get on with it. But it just makes me think about how I just remember years ago when a lot of a lot was going against me with regards to my sense of security. And yet I was pushing forward with this fight and I haven't lost the fight, I don't believe, but I do need to remind myself the purpose and the need for the fight to have that surplus of energy, to have that fortification to where the world won't get the best of me, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need. I need, you know, I could say I have it now, but again, that's only because everything is really going right. Honestly, I feel like that's because a lot is functioning and a lot is benefiting me. But then when it's not benefiting me, what's going down? How weak am I going to be? How fragile will I be? Or perhaps it's unavoidable. Perhaps my
And what's the,
fragility.
bro, here's what because I've been thinking about this. I've been, you know, I think you and I are the same way. Like I just can't get myself to go to a therapist. I can't do it. So I do self-therapy.
Oh
And
yes.
just trying to get to the root of a lot of my fears because I'm wrestling with something similar and it is like if I explain it to anyone else, it's just like you can't go wrong. Like I'm changing jobs and it's just like, do I take this good position or that good position? You know what I mean? And it's like, but it's a doom thing. Like, what if that decision is the wrong one? And it's just
Hmm.
a spiral. And it's because of it's just like everything is guided by a certain amount of fear and just like that sense of, that you can tie it all back to something that you experienced in childhood. But I need to reframe some of that and just really feel as though as long as I am taking the right steps with the right intentions, and as long as I'm fully engaged in life, not just like living it, waking up, breathing, inhale, exhale, but like actually engage in life, which means for me, unfortunately, and I say that sarcastically, but I have to engage more human beings and feel more connected with them, which is a challenge for me. I'm very much a hermit, but it's like I have to get out of this sense of just like second guessing every decision that I make, even if it's like six in one hand, half dozen in another, right? And just this right here, what I'm going through though, is just showing me what I'm inclined to do. Trying to like get down to the root of it. And trying to reframe it as an adult, not see it in the same through the same youthful eyes or immature eyes or vulnerable eyes, in terms of like my being prepared for whatever it is that happens. You know, like
Hmm.
I need to feel a bit more reassured in my ability to adapt, change, navigate whatever challenges may come. Because if I don't, if I give too much into just like the fear of it all. Like I should consider it, but I shouldn't like put too much weight on it because
Hmm.
then I'm not acknowledging the progress that I made, and not in a way where I need to congratulate myself, but also just to recognize the tools that I've acquired along the way. You know,
Hmm.
the tools that I've sharpened along the way. It's like if I tell myself I'm not gonna be prepared, then I'm not in the toolkit. I'm not like looking around. I'm not being resourceful. I'm almost saying that, yeah, I learned this, I did that, I have that ability, but you know what? That's not enough.
Mm.
And I can't do that. It's like it's too unhealthy, man. And it just I am tired of myself in that sense, and that's the other thing. I'm tired of telling myself the same stories. I'm tired of doing that shit, man.
Hmm.
So I gotta change it up, bro.
No, I
So
love
I'm
that.
I'm trying.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I think even just speaking to it is like one of the most magical, helpful things, therapeutic things one can do. Because like it's even you saying everything you're saying is therapeutic for me, and just saying the right steps with the right intentions. Absolutely, that really is ultimately what it's all about. Then yeah, having a faith in your growth, having a faith in your toolkit, having a faith in your evolution. Absolutely, you're right because it does come down to a needless, senseless neuroses that is a dead end.
Yes.
It's not doing anything beneficial for you, 100%. But see, that's the magic. See, this is the healthy conversations factor in the four pillars because there's something magical about speaking to it. Speaking to it activates something that it wasn't necessarily activating for me at a singular level over this weekend. And so, yeah, brother, no, that's a beautiful sentiment, and I agree. I agree. Like, what was all this growth for? What's all this development for? Just to disregard it and act as if it's not something that enables you to be competent. Uh, I suppose it's then a fear of, like, it's just, I guess, just an awareness of all the blind spots in the past,
Mm-hmm.
especially. It's an awareness of how, I know for myself, it's awareness how stupid I can be despite
Yeah.
whatever competency I might have. And it's just it's a fear of making some kind of foolish mistake because I'm very capable of doing so. But that being at the same time, what have all these years been for? And that's why I love using that term faith, even outside of your standard religious context, which is typically not utilized outside your standard religious context. But to have a faith in your systematic behavioral patterns, a faith in your value system, a faith in your perpetual efforts, and that they will just like, and again, that you cannot control what all the variables, but you can control your internal ones which have an effect on the external ones. Yes, brother. Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Bro, and the other thing, like you brought up, like, like when you think back and you're inclined to make mistakes and do all of that, that's something that, like, I always do things. I can't even say that they've all been mistakes though, but I am just inclined to regret. Like
Mm,
that is one of my favorite states, just a state of regret or despair. And always second guessing and wondering if I, chose the wrong path. And
mm.
that's where it's like if I can't change that right now, I have to continue to work on that. So that's something where it's like if I make the wrong mistake, then I have to think about how do I get through it? How do I learn from it? How do I turn it into something positive? And that's why I need to look back, right? Where I've made mistakes because this is just my pattern or where I've like regretted things. How have I navigated that? And do I like where the growth that I've made, the progress, who I am as a human being? And if I have any appreciation for that, then I should know that, okay, you can do this. You can, regardless of the decision that you do make, you will make the best of it, even if it's the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
But once
Mm-hmm.
you make it, once you like decide down a route, you just gotta break free from the regret and despair. So I feel you on like just knowing when you look back at your history and the decisions that you've made and just knowing what you're inclined to do. Like I continue to sit with that, but I also know that I still have to make decisions. I have to make choices. I have to try things and fail. And I just have to fail better, try again, right? Samuel Beckett quote. So yeah, what is it? Fail again, try again, fail better. Something
Mm-hmm.
to that effect. But that's where I am, bro. And I, you know, I know that a lot of this is rooted in a past that was just a different me in a different context. So I also need to better understand and more accurately, like define the context that I'm existing in now and who I have become since whatever point in my past, what was that person that I continue to employ and allow to tell me how bad this is or how bad it could be or question why did you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Or why are you a slacker? Why can't you get it together? It's like all of these things that just have been a part of my past and a part of the way that and not even recent past, it's just like to some extent, a lot of that's just like high school me leading up to Katrina, you know, and
Yeah.
some of those, yeah. So I don't know, man. It's like how do you tell yourself a different story and one that's based in your more current reality and actual
Mm.
context.
Mm.
Also,
No,
bro, I read this poem. I'm gonna pronounce her name wrong, but this woman, Louise Gluck, it's got one of those accent marks that I don't quite understand, but I won't. I'm gonna share it with you, but the last two lines in it resonated, where she says, "We look at the world once in childhood, the rest is memory," and it's almost like everything that we see, right, even in the current, is that like we frame it in that context.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And oftentimes then you're just living in the memory and not in the present. You're living in some old perception of who you are, what you do. Like you're not always grounded in the here and now and seeing it through the right lens.
Absolutely. Yes. No, I totally agree. Especially, and that's an endeavor right there too, to be in the here and now, to be grounded, which is super important for me. It's part of my pseudo religion. And to addition to what you're saying is perspective too. And this is why conversation for me is so beautiful and important because supplementing everything that you had just said is ensuring your perspective is fashioned in such a way to where you are grounded, to where you are present in the moment. And it's just hilarious to me. I get a chuckle when I think about, our decisions because they're in this context of really more specifically like, oh, should I have luxury A or luxury B? Like, oh man,
Right.
like my luxuries are going to be thwarted. They're going to be compromised. Not my luxuries, my luxuries. And a lot of people are very successfully, to me, in a relatively sociopathic way, completely indifferent to this compare and contrast because it's sort of like, man, look, that's their life. This is my life. And in a way, and it's so funny because I want to say I envy it. I want to say I envy the one who can who completely can ignore the travesty, the tragedy of people existing right now and the people that existed in the past. But I can't say that because I think that that is probably one of the biggest reasons why there's so much wrongness in our world and wrongness in America is because of that kind of sociopathy or that indifference. So that sort of self-absorption, oh well, they've been dealt a bad hand, whatever. But instead, I think that because you know why I say that because because those same people utilize that compare and contrast for those who are quote unquote doing better than them, even if that is just like by 1 degree. And by the way, better being highly subjective and highly relative too. But it's that FOMO, it's that compare and contrast, and always wanting like yeah, I got this amount of money, but I want this amount of money. Yeah, I have this big of a house, but I want this house, cars. So if we're gonna use that feature of compare and contrast, why not use it in such a way that humbles us, that helps our perspective be more grounded and more honest and more
Hmm.
truthful. And so to go along with everything you're saying too, that's something that I have to seek consciously. My perspective, it's like it's almost like a sandcastle. It's almost like it's this fortified sandcastle, but just the day by day, the tide just
Yeah, it just
diminishes your
erodes
warmth.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
gotta build it back up, bro.
Got to build it back up. Got to keep, and then you just got to keep adding, right? Not wait for it to be completely destroyed, but just keep working on it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
one damaged part at a time, and knowing that you can't fix it all at once, and also not waiting until you have a complete and utter just breakdown.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, bro, I don't know, man. It is all about perspective. Um, it is all about not allowing yourself to be in that just exist in this victimized role. It's
Mm,
important to highlight, where you and others may be victimized, but not to dwell on that. And
hmm
also, bro, the other thing that I know I need to like really appreciate and commit to is, I can use other people's situation, just like you and I are reading that book or have read Cobalt Red, and reflecting on just like the lives of people in the DRC, in how, I mean, like different is an understatement, right? In
Yeah.
terms of it's like we live on different planets under, just different laws of nature. But when if I think about the situation that they're in, I shouldn't use that example to give myself perspective to say, you know
Mm,
what? I got it. I got it better than them. You know what I mean? I should be grateful. It's like the thing that I should be dedicated to doing is helping other people who perhaps are worse off than me. And if
yeah.
people who are doing better than me do the same, the lift as you climb aspect of this, that's what humanity is about, right? True
Mm,
humanity. Like you are helping others who are in a vulnerable position, driven by a certain amount of empathy that is unique to human beings, in ways that not all animals experience it. Like we all feel vulnerable, human beings generally, unless you have some, you know, psychopathic, gene. Like we all feel vulnerable. We all feel alone. We all feel disconnected from ourselves, the world, other people, just everything. We feel alien at times. Um, but to use that empathy, man, to like allow me to dedicate my life, effort, and my work to helping other people is something that I want to start to like commit more and more to, and that's what
hmm
like the work that I do is it puts me in a position where I'm doing that, but there's always more that I can do there. And then it also helps me shake off any of the, victim of circumstance type of mentality that I might be inclined to, give into and
hmm
realize that, you know, having it good is relative, but it's like, I'll use the example of this priest. He was this morning. He was talking about this man who older man is like 90 years old, but he opens the like the church every morning, and when the priest asks him, how you doing, he always says, "Vertical, Father, vertical." Just like I'm up. That's it. That's all you need to know. I'm good. If I'm up, I'm all right. So, um,